Alright everybody, so at DuckTales this week, Uncle Scrooge and the kids along with Lena and Violet have traveled to Istanbul to try and collect another missing treasure from that diary of the explorer Finch lady, the sword of Swansontein. And the thing about Swansontein sword is it, it, it can only be used by a group of individuals who figure out how to use their true strength. And and but the thing is, guys, even though Uncle Scrooge and the kids think that they've gotten to the sword of Swansontein before director Buzzard and his fellow foul agents have their own, because Steelbeak, Agent G, John Roger Duck, and his cohort with the male and whose name I can't remember at the moment, are also at the sword of Swansontein. And the pieces that make up the sword are said to be in the heavens, the underworld, and in the center of the earth. And and each member of the gang this week, when they find their individual piece, has to deal with an agent of foul, but figure out what that true strength is, in order to get the piece of the sword of Swansontein. Like, for instance, Dewey and Webby end up getting the first piece, that's stuck in a statue of Swansontein, I'm presuming, but it's stuck in his arm at the very top of this big construction site. But the problem is, Foul's android, Agent G, throws this flash bomb that blinds both Dewey and Webby, and basically that their inner strength is that they just basically have to trust each other, because while Dewey's able to navigate through the construction site fine, even though he's lost his most valued sense, the sense of sight. Webby at first has trouble, and in between all this, that they do manage to avoid a second flash bomb and use it and turn it on Agent G herself. Meanwhile, Louie and Violet have to get the piece from the underworld, which is just this kind of like underground club for bad guys. And Louie once again tells another famous Louis Incorporated lie, and tells all the bad guys that he's this white servant person, and that Violet's the uh, shield with some other crazy name that I can't remember. But the agent that they end up running into is John Roggerduck, who 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 can tell the other members of the underworld. I mean, the villain club that Violet and Louis both are just a couple of kids. But 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 the way it's chosen to deal with this is if Louis uh and Agent Rockerduck uh take part in what's called a spice off. Where they have to swallow these really hot spices that Istanbul is famous for without breaking a sweat. And Agent Rockerduck can do that fine because while he was frozen in a cryogenic state, he 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 lost the ability to he lost his sense of taste. So 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 by the end of filling in for Louis, because Violet learned how to basically control her taste buds through Tibetan training and being subscribed to the Spice of the Month magazine. Anyway, Louise and Violet's inner strength is finally learning how to tell the truth, and Lena and Huey have to deal with Steelbeak, who's gotten the last piece of the Sword of Swanstein. And basically, guys, Huey's inner strength is that he's finally got to stop trying to think about everything and and, and let out the Duke of a mess, which is basically his angry side. And I gotta say, guys, the Duke of a Mess says anger. It is an anger that I think Uncle Donald would be extremely proud of. Although Donald's angry temper is still the more legendary temper for a reason. And while this is all going on, Uncle Scrooge and that last member of Fowl, whose name I can't remember, uh, still end up having this just basic hand to robot claw to cane fight that ends up going in a restaurant of all places, but but even after everybody's gathered all the pieces of the sword, Uncle Scrooge basically tells everybody to basically hand over the pieces of Swanstein's sword to the agents of Fowl because, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, the Swanstein sword can only be used by individuals who have unlocked their true strength and learn how to understand it. But it turns out at the end of the episode that gaining the sword of Swanstein was not the foul agent mission. It turns out their true mission was to get a single duck feather, and if that means what I think it means, guys, I think Agent Buzzard is planning on cloning Uncle Scrooge, and cloning an evil version of him, and making the world see that he's the richest and the most evil duck in the world. So Director Bradford is, I think, planning to stop this evil clone of Uncle Scrooge and save the world himself, and get the real Mr. McD in trouble. Again, guys, the evil clone part has not been confirmed, but it's the only reason I can think of why they would need a single piece of duck DNA. So with that, guys, that's gonna do it for this video. Have a good one, and let's hope that if Agent Bradford does clone Uncle Scrooge, let's hope that evil version of him, at least in some way, pays tribute to the legendary original voice of Scrooge McDuck, the late great Alan Young.